And welcome back, everyone. So in this video, Lee is going to continue with getting this new project set up.
Right. Now we're going to jump over to Visual Studio and start doing some of the setup work that's needed for that, because obviously we're missing a whole lot of code, as you can see. Now, it's going to be a while from this point before we actually manage to get any geometry rendered out in Unity. The next several videos are going to be us going through, setting up the folder structure in Visual Studio, renaming a bunch of stuff, cleaning things up, dragging as much of the code from our Train 07 project as we can possibly manage, because as much fun as coding is, I prefer not to write the same code more than once if I can get away with it. So let's start creating some folders here. So for now, I'm just going to create some empty folders to hold stuff when we get to it. The first one is going to be abstracts. Next is features. And then we'll go with the train system folder. Now, you may notice that we're not using the underscores anymore. We're encasing things in brackets. So Jason and I have started switching our way of thinking. Mostly Jason prefers this.
It just looks nicer to me.
Yeah, and I just started following it. But even now, after writing the code for the pipeline stuff, I'm starting to walk away from this this type of system, because it becomes difficult to code and deal with when you're using this as part of your path and you're building paths with square brackets and dealing with some of the other things with namespaces. It's just getting old. So, but right now I'm using it here because I still like it. I think it looks very clean, and for code it works well. But when it gets into resources and textures and materials, it doesn't work quite so well. So you may see me going back and forth between the two systems, but I did want to bring up the fact that we are using square brackets right now and why we're doing it. So don't freak out. It's no big deal. It's just a naming thing that we're doing. All right, so that's our train system, our threading system, and our noise system. Now, let's go ahead and open up the code here. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Scripts, there we go. Okay, now let's go ahead, jump back up the assets. Let's look at code base. Inside of Demo Framework, I have noise. Here's our 4 noise CS files. I'm going to drag those into noise. Let's go back over here. Let's go to features. I'm going to grab our config, our FPS counter, and mouse lock. Drag those into features. And what else do I have? I've got iDemo, which is going to go into abstracts. And, whoops, Demo Framework. I have utils. For now, I'm going to take that and I'm just going to drop it in the code. That's going to go away. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. And back to Demo Framework. That takes care of all those. Let's go back to code base. Inside of demos, we have our brushes, our sculpting, our mini map. Let's see, we've got train demo, train generator I want. So that's going to go in the train system. But let's see what else we got. We've got train patch. We're completely rewriting that. Train demo. Yeah, it's got some stuff. We're going to rewrite most of that too, but I can copy or delete a lot of code from there. I don't have to rewrite that from scratch. And let's go back to demos. Minimap we're not going to bring over for now. That was just kind of the show off. We don't need it. Sculpting and brushes, we will revisit that at a later date once we get this new train editor, the initial part of it all done. Once everything is all done and we're ready to start sculpting, then we'll bring those in. But for now, we're just going to leave them out to keep them out of our way. Same with our sculpting stuff. All this will be left out. So that will take care of the stuff from Train 07. Now, for those of you that followed along with us when we did our multi-threading section, we'll recognize this Unity threading implementation project. Inside of here, we've got some code. We've got threading. And I have all of these files. I'm going to drop into threading. I'm going to create another folder in here that will also be an abstracts folder. So I've got abstracts, and I'm going to drop iWorker thread inside of here. And let's see, what else do I have in there? I have iWorker thread, and I have worker thread, because worker thread, if I remember right, is an abstract class. Yep. So worker thread goes in there. And let's see, we'll put those there. I've got worker threads. So let's go ahead and create a folder for those. So there's a worker threads folder. Our worker threads abstracts. Let's put abstracts under worker threads. And then I'm going to take our test worker thread, and I'll slap that in there for now. My thread pool is going to sit outside. Same with priority queue. Unity dispatch, I'm going to give its own folder. And because it's closely tied with threading, I'm going to keep it inside of the threading part. So we'll add a new folder. And this will be our Unity dispatches. And I'm losing stuff. Unity dispatcher. Did I not copy stuff over, or is that because... Oh, there it is, Unity dispatches. There it is. Good, makes sense. All right, inside of here, we'll add another abstract folder. And Unity dispatches. Take these two, drag those inside of abstracts, and Unity dispatcher. No, I'm going to leave that out here, so leave that out. So that will take care of all those. I'll leave those open for now. All right, now let's make sure I've got everything from here, everything from inside of threading, all cleaned up, but we're going to have to change a lot of the namespaces to make everything work. And then I'm going to jump back, and can I go back into Train 07 real quick? One last check. Check our code base, demos, we've got all that. Demo framework, we've got those, utils, noise, features, and all three of those. Okay, so that should be all of the code from our last two sessions. All of 7, minus the sculpting tools, which we'll come back and grab later. And then all of the threading and the Unity dispatcher code. So that's just bringing the files over and setting up the folder structure. So you want to make sure that your folder structure and all the files that I have here are pretty much all the same. And then in the next video, we're going to come back and we're going to start cleaning up all the namespaces and start modifying the these files to get them kind of in line where they need to be. And then after we get through all that stuff, we'll start looking at making a new train mesh.
Okay. Well, with that, that's going to conclude this video. We'll see you guys in the next. Thanks.